Welcome to BizTV's Beyond the Brand. I'm Kelli Phillips. Today I'm joined by Kathleen Kocsis, who turned her love for small dogs into a thriving national business. She's here to share her journey of founding Petite Pup Small Dog Daycare. Stick around. We'll be right back with more of BizTV's Beyond the Brand. Our next guest turned her love for small dogs into a thriving national business, and she's here today to share her journey of scaling this unique concept into a successful franchise. Please welcome owner and founder of Petite Pup Small Dog Daycare, Kathleen Kocsis. And Kathleen, I've got to ask, who is your little friend?
Well, the star, of course, which is Bella. Bella is the inspiration for Petite Pup. As you can tell, she's a petite pup. She's about 7 pounds. She's supposed to weigh around 5. So don't let her vet know, but her and I like the treats.
No problem. Now, she was the inspiration for this whole idea, but tell us about the premise of daycare, because I think of daycare and I think of small kids.
Yeah. And so small dogs instead of small kids. So dog daycare, if you need to run errands or if you work all day or, it's more for the dog for some of these people. They want to drop off and maybe get their nails done next door, go to the Pilates next door. They want the dog to socialize. Dogs are very social. They don't want to be home alone. When they leave, they're not like, oh, good, my alone time. No, they're like, looking at the door. It's really sad. Before I opened the daycare, I had this little video on Bella, and she was looking at the door. She was looking for me. Dogs are social. And so I thought, well, what about a social club of some sort? Not overnights, not grooming, not training, no retail. It is literally just dog daycare, Monday through Friday and a little bit on Saturday. We're closed on Sundays and most holidays.
What has been the response to the petite doggy daycare?
It's been mostly really, really positive. When you have a tiny dog, it's really hard to trust. I say trust is one of the biggest things because these little furry guys are your whole world. Let's be honest. So, hard to trust when they're that little. You'll go into other places and they kind of mix dogs by, breed, but by temperament. So you could have big dogs in there that are old and mellow. The problem with that is these guys are so little. And even though the big dogs may have no ill will, biggest hearts, they could accidentally, injure them a little bit or just might be a little too rough with play. So, I was looking for a daycare for itty bitty dogs and I couldn't find one. Some people say, 25 pounds or 30 pounds, but they don't put them on the scale. We specialize in dogs under 15 pounds and we put them on the scale. It's important to stay, littles with littles. So it's daycare, just like for kids, but for dogs.
So what do they do during daycare besides socialize with one another?
Right. Well, it depends on the dog. Each dog is individual. We have this one dog, Cookie. She's a VIP. She's a little bit older and she's so excited to get into the playroom and she's wagging her tail and she runs in there and then she sits on her chair. And that's good for her because she's older. So that's mental stimulation. People think dog daycare, that's just for puppies. It's not. Now, puppies do like it and they learn how to dog, we might say, around dogs their size. And so it's safer. It's more controlled. We do enrichment throughout the day. We had art class the other day. It's daycare, but just for little dogs. A lot of attention. We always have lots of staff to play and cuddle with your little ones, but it's about them also making furry friends.
Okay, you mentioned you have art class for the dogs. Explain.
Well, we have, we'll put the little paws, on some sort of whatever the holiday is or something. And it's a whole thing because we don't want to get these little dogs all, with different colored paws. So what we do is we put a big glob of paint, then we put some saran wrap down, and then we gently put their paw in. And you can't just take the saran wrap off. You can't just do that. So we have to put it in the freezer for a little bit. So then you can take the saran wrap off. And then, we give it to the parents at pickup and they have something for their fridge. It's pretty cute.
I've got to ask, you started this in one location, but now it's grown nationwide. It's really caught on. Tell us, who are the folks that best serve as franchise owners for this particular franchise?
That's a great question. Basically, when it all comes down, good people that love dogs and have a little bit of financials. Those are the people we're looking for, because if you love dogs, you're a good person with, good intentions, and you have a little bit of money, come talk to me. Let's figure this out. Let's get one in your neighborhood, because honestly, it's just fun. It's easy to hire for, the kiddos working for us. They just love the dogs. It's not hard to hire for. You don't need a technical person. We don't have groomers, so no scissors by their eyes, and, no extra insurance for that. No overnights. So that's nice. We are just daycare. We stay in our lane, if you think about it. Do what you do and do it well. And, it's easy to hire. There's no holidays. There's work-life balance, which is nice. But we're looking for good people that love dogs. And, in cities, though, this is more of a city place. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. And, in the country, probably not so much, because those are usually more big dogs. But so we're looking for more of the cities for these itty bitty dogs for Petite Pup.
I love it. What's your vision for Petite Pup Small Dog Daycare for the next 5 years?
To grow, but grow with intention. I have zero interest in tomorrow opening up 200 more locations. It's going to be the right people and the right jobs, and us working together as a team. We work on that with our core values. We try to hire to that. We make sure that we're, honest, transparent, safety first, of course, because safety is so important for these little dogs. The clients that are coming to you are trusting their little itty bitty dog with you. This is their whole world. Everything is low to the ground. We use, veterinary grade cleaning products. Our employees get rigorous training. We have training videos, and, we do a lot of things with everyone to make sure that your dogs are the safest, having the most fun, with dogs their side.
Can you tell us a few success stories about some of your franchise owners?
So we just started franchising October of 2024. We have sent out a couple FDDs, which is franchise disclosure document, and we're in the works with talking with a few people. The cool thing about, being on the newer side of the franchise is, you get to have a little more input. You get to work with the founder. You get to work with the originals. There's something about being with the originals. Just think if you got to work with the originals of Subway and Pizza Hut and all these places, that there was only one at one time, and then there became more. So there's some stock in that, I believe.
Yeah, absolutely. For those interested in owning a franchise, what's their initial investment cost?
So it's only $45,000 for the initial franchise fee. I do suggest, to learn all the specifics, to go on to petitepupdaycare.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and click franchise with us. We don't have it at the top, franchise with us, because we talked about growing, but with intention. We want to make sure you have plenty of territory. We want to make sure that you are successful in your business. So we want to help you with that one-on-one. And we're going to have weekly talks. We're going to talk to other franchisees. You have a lot of support. It's not just, oh, here you go. I mean, it is here you go for business in a box. So it's okay if you've never run a business before, or if you have a lot of businesses. We're just here to, for the little dogs, basically, those people that love the littles.
So when you first started this, did you think it would become a franchise?
You know what? I was hoping so. At the same time, if it was one and done in the beginning, I was kind of okay with that. I was more worried about proof of concept. Is this actually going to work? As with any business, when you first start, it can be lonely. It can be, is this the right thing? I wanted to make sure we're using the right products. We have the policies in place. We have our employee manual is on point. We wanted to do everything right. So is this the right flooring? How tall can the play equipment be in the room? What are we doing? How are we with our clients? We wanted to make sure it was just the right product before putting it out there. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. And Kathleen, we need to take a quick break, but we want to come back and talk more about Petite Pup Small Dog Daycare in just a minute. So stick around. And we're back with Kathleen Kocsis to talk Petite Pup Small Dog Daycare. And Kathleen, I've got to ask, this being a brand new franchise, have you gone through many mistakes, and what have you learned from those mistakes?
Yeah, a lot of mistakes. I mean, isn't that how we learn sometimes? All the failures, and it's not how many times you are knocked down, but it's, how many times you get up is sort of what they say. So along the way, we've learned, what are the best practices for many things, whether it be customer service, employee interaction, just the care of these dogs. So we want the safest environment for these teeny tiny dogs. It's so hard for clients to trust when you have a 2 or 3 pound dog. That's hard, can I tell you? And we offer them to stay and watch, and we want them to be involved. We send pictures and videos throughout the day. That's another thing that makes us real special is you can call or text us anytime when your dog's there, several times if you want, especially if it's their first day. Shoot us 4 or 5, 10 texts. That is okay. We will happy to send you a quick video of what's going on right now. We want you to be involved in your dog's life while they're at Petite Pup.
Now, I know with small dogs in particular, a lot of them can have problems. They can have allergies. Is the daycare a good thing for them too?
Sure. So people ask me, is daycare for all the dogs? The first answer is no. It's not. And I know as a business person, you're like, no, take all the dogs. We have temperament tests. We ask a lot of questions. Our intake form is going to ask questions about the allergies and whatnot. We do have we have single ingredient treats at the shop, but we also have a no treat list if you don't want your dog to have treats during the day, and that's fine. We can feed your dog. We cannot feed your dog with your dog food you bring in, and we don't charge extra. We're not going to nickel and dime you. It's not, okay, you want how many pictures today? That's extra. You want us to feed your dog? That's extra. We don't do the extra. We are an all-inclusive. We have memberships. So you just sort of like a gym membership. So we have a credit card on file. We don't even think about it. We just like a regular kid's daycare. We make sure that your dog is taken care of in every way possible.
Do most of your clients bring their dogs every week, several times a week? How does that work?
A lot of our clients do, and that's why the memberships make sense. The more often you come, the less expensive it will be. We do have the one-off because we are currently in our corporate office in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's sunny and it's beautiful, and we have a lot of people that are out visiting. So we do have, if you've never been to our daycare before, you can go ahead and just pay for one at a time. You don't have to be on a monthly membership. So we try to make it convenient for the client. Just talk to us about what your needs are, and we'll try to figure out what plan or package, or maybe you're just going to be a pay-as-go person because, you're a snowbird, but you're, maybe from Canada and you can only spend a certain amount of months here. And so you're here, and we'll work with you.
Do you have any stories of dogs that have come in and their very first visit, they were a little anxious, but the more that they've come, the more they begin to socialize and they have a better temperament afterwards?
They do. And actually, that's a great question. That's honestly one of the things that are I love. When a dog comes in and they're shy and unsure, they don't know how to dog. And a lot of these dogs, right after COVID, we saw a lot of them, but they didn't know. And so seeing them open up, going from the shy, timid dog who's kind of in the corner and just watching it all, and then slowly like, oh, I can do this. This is a play bow. This is how I do this. It's really fun to see. I remember Chloe, this little white Caton de Toulouse or Caton, and dog, her first couple days, she was so shy. In fact, I don't even think we put her in the playroom at first because we wanted to slowly Introduce her. We don't force any dogs to play. We don't force dogs to do anything. We want them to be themselves, but we also want to open up their world. That's another reason for dog daycare, is because if you always keep them in one little setting, it doesn't open up their world. Daycare, meeting different dogs, different situations, different humans that are coming in. I always have at least 2 employees on. And then during the employee shift change, that's kind of fun. There's just a lot for them to learn. It is a lot of mental stimulation. So yes, we have a lot of dogs that come, every, say, Tuesday, Thursday, or whatever it is. And that's their schedule. And dogs like a schedule.
They're just like human beings. They like their schedule. Have you run into any problems with one of your small dogs being a bully?
We do a temperament test to see what's going on. I guess it depends what you call a bully. Learning how to dog is good in a small environment with other small dogs, with, dog specialists, taking a look to see what are they looking like. Even though their tail is wagging, are they stiff? Is there different, you got to look at everything about the dogs to make sure that they're comfortable. And we let them dog to a certain point. We do intervene if they keep sniffing on a really submissive dog. We're like, sniff and go. We let them sniff because their senses are all about that. But we don't encourage them to stay too long. We want them to learn in this type of environment instead of a teeny tiny and a big dog comes up. This helps them to sort of know how to dog in other situations. You're really opening up their world when you bring them to daycare, whether it's just an hour here and there when you're at your Pilates class, or it's all day because either you work away from home or in the home. We have clients that work in the home, but their dog might bark during the day, so they bring them to daycare. There's many reasons to come to daycare.
Is there a limit to the number of dogs that you take at any given time?
Yeah, we sure do. So, and when you're opening a franchise, you definitely want to check out all your rules and regulations. Each state is going to be different. We're currently in Arizona, and there is no human to dog ratio. That's what they call it here in Arizona as of now. That could always change. And places like, let's just say Colorado, they have a 1 to 15 dog ratio. So it just depends. You definitely check out each state of what your capacity can be. And if you are in a state where there's only, say, 1 or 1 to 15, we do suggest something called a crate and rotate. But for the dogs that are okay in a crate, we talk to the clients about that. We don't ever want to put them outside their comfort zone too much. We want to talk with the client. That's the cool thing about being a boutique dog daycare. We usually feed around 11 o'clock, but this dog Pretzel, she likes to eat at 4 o'clock. So that's when she gets fed. We really want to tailor everything to your dog's specific needs. And each dog room, it depends how large your space is, but we usually have about 20 to 25 dogs a day in our station.
I love it. Give us one word that would describe your journey as being a franchise owner.
Eventful. Every day is an event. I remember when we first opened, we're in Arizona. You can see some cactus behind me. And, it was one Saturday morning and one of my employees calls me. She's like, there's a gecko in the grate. We have a little grate. We have a drainage system with fake grass on it. And she saw a little gecko. We're in Arizona. It's the first and only time it happened, as with anything. And she calls me and I said, okay, well, there's always 2 girls on. So one of you watch the gecko. And we always know that Handy Andy is his name. And he's one of the first to drop off. And he helps us with little things, hence the name Handy Andy. He has this little dog named Bailey, super cute. Anyways, so we know Handy Andy's on his way. So I'll give him a call. I wasn't in town at the time, so I couldn't rush over and help. But basically, Andy just took the gecko and put it outside and help the employees. And I say it's always eventful because there's always going to be a gecko grate situation, right? That happened once, never happened again. And I think that's kind of what you have to go with. You have to never know about the gecko in the... Oh, that was Bella. She agrees.
If there's somebody out there watching saying, this possibly could be for me, how do they find out more information about becoming a franchise owner?
Great question. So we suggest to go to petitepupdaycare.com, scroll all the way to the bottom and click on franchise with us. you could learn more information. You and I could sit down and have a talk, come out to Scottsdale, see what it's like, talk to the employees, talk to the clients. Let's have, a bigger discussion about it. Why now? Why would you like to do this? That's great. I love dogs too. Let's talk about that. Trust me, I could talk about dogs all day.
Kathleen, it seems to me as though you have the perfect job. Being with your dog day in, day out, socializing them, getting to play with other dogs. You've got it made. Best of luck and continued success. Kathleen Kocsis with Petite Pup Small Dog Daycare. Thanks for watching BizTV's Beyond the Brand. Be sure to subscribe to the BizTV YouTube channel, where you'll find full episodes of this show, fresh BizTV content, and a few surprises each week to help you stay inspired.